Hi, folks. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome to the next installment in a webinar series by Better Living with Balance on all things, things hopefully that'll help you live your life with better balance and help you enjoy your time on God's planet. We talk about nutrition and wellness and fitness and health. Today's topic, though, is Isagenix 101. We're going to talk a little bit about the company Isagenix and the fine products that they provide, and a little bit of why Nicole and I recommend that for our patients and our clients and our friends and family. Background story on Isagenix. Actually, probably the best place to start is background story on us. If you don't know us already, my name is Lawrence Hutchison. My wife, Nicole Hutchison, runs Better Living with Balance, and we started that company about 4 years ago when she was doing physical therapy and personal training and was really trying to focus more on helping people get the most out of their lives. I'd been in practice for about 16 years at the time, focusing on nutrition and fitness and wellness. And we were looking for something not just for our patients and clients, but also for ourselves, for our own nutrition and our own health. We'd found that even with our advanced levels of training, we were finding it very, very hard to meet our nutritional needs simply by shopping smart and spending our time on the outside of the grocery store aisle and avoiding boxes and bags. And when we really sat down and put pen to paper and tried to figure out, exactly what our nutrition was like and were we meeting all of our needs and were we eating as healthy as we could, we found it was nearly impossible for us, and yet we were doing what most uh, doctors and physical therapists and personal trainers and health coaches do, which is recommending that people just, if you eat right and exercise enough, your body's going to be healthy. And we realized how difficult that was in today's busy age with, kids going to dance lessons and ballet and softball and baseball and you name it, running kids back and forth in busy lives and two jobs and all the things that distract us. It was nearly impossible to get the most out of our nutrition and our exercise plans without some assistance. So we started a quest to try to find something that we could use for ourselves, but we could also use with our patients and clients to give them a tool that was a whole lot easier than simply trying to navigate the grocery store. And we found Isagenix. We actually looked at a whole bunch of other companies, and all of those were wanting in one way or another. There was something about them that made us uncomfortable, that we didn't want to even use them in our own bodies, let alone recommend to our clients, whether it was additives or preservatives or shady science or the Juice of the Month Club, some sort of a gimmick or trick that a lot of these companies sort of put in their products to try to, I think, more marketing than science by any means. But when we found Isagenix, we sort of fell in love, not just with the science of Isagenix, but the simplicity and the wholeness and their focus on organics and really putting in your hands, in our hands, the ability to maximize our nutrition without a lot of expense and in a very, very simple way. So um, we started recommending these to after we'd used it for a year ourselves. We started recommending Isagenix products to our patients and clients and have had just absolutely fantastic results. We have been able to work that into the activity and diet lead to good health. Many people realize that if you exercise 4 or 5 days a week and you maintain some personal fitness, that goes a long way to improving your health. But the diet is equally as important. You can't exercise enough to overcome a bad diet or an unhealthy diet, and your health is going to your body is going to respond accordingly. So, in an effort to get the right nutrition into people's hands and into their bodies and help affect their health and their life and their longevity, we launched Isagenix in our practices and have just loved it ever since. So, one of the things that we want to focus on today, we're going to call this Isagenix 101, or we're going to focus on the 5 pillars of health. There are a lot of Isagenix products that we won't talk about today. We'll be doing further webinars in the future on Isagenix to talk more about some other things that they have. They have some fruit powders, green vegetable powder, protein powders, and some bars. They have an energy drink, brain and joint support, things like that. They don't have a huge number of products. Many of those companies out there have 200, 300, 400 products. Isagenix has less than 50. They focus on a smaller list of products, but make them absolutely fantastic. And we think that it's very complete, that it'll help with all of your health and nutrition needs, your athletic performance and energy. And we don't need to complicate it by making so many options, so many choices that people just get confused. So One of the first things we always talk about with Isagenix, of course, is that Isagenix is not medication. Isagenix is food and it's nutrition. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. Isagenix is a supplement company that specializes in health and wellness and energy and performance, overall body nutrition and healthy aging, by providing you the nutrition you need. And not gimmicks and not medicine, not drugs, just simple everyday food, based on scientific principles and not someone else's science, not voodoo science that they do in some back lab that no one else can prove, but available science that's out there in all of the nutritional literature that many scientists or most scientists agree on. What's the right protein sources? What's the right ratio of proteins to carbs to fats? And what's the best time to eat? And what's the appropriate level of vitamins to supplement with? And if everybody agrees on that science, Isagenix takes that science and builds you an amazing product with it, rather than trying to invent something new that no one else has or no one else can understand, in some scientific study on some superfruit from Brazil, and then trying to convince the world that they're the only person that knows about this. Isagenix has a policy, or I guess its plan is to provide you with the best nutrition that's scientifically supported in the majority of the medical and nutritional community, rather than trying to make it up themselves. So another part of the Isagenix that we really love is that it's also so very simple. You can put this into your lifestyle, whether you're just trying to age gracefully, or you're trying to improve your overall health, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to peak your performance, if you're an athlete, you can do it in a very simple way. Because of its simplicity and its ability to be adaptable to all those different environments, it makes it very useful for us with all of our patients, from the kids that we have in my practice, and the young athletes, to many of the athletes and people that Nicole does for personal training with. It actually had to be affordable. If it was expensive, it priced itself right out of the market. I mean, people needed to be able to take the money they were normally spending at the grocery store and simply shop at Isagenix and get a much higher quality product, much better for their health and their nutrition. But not something that was going to be so expensive that they couldn't stay with it. So we really feel like Isagenix is just dollar cost shifting. You're just not buying food at the grocery store; you're buying food from Isagenix. But we anticipate, and we've had lots and lots of people doing this for a number of years. The vast majority come back and say they're either breaking even or they're saving money over what they used to spend on food. So without further ado, let's move on to Isagenix and why we feel like Isagenix is important, and how it helps you balance your life and balance your health and your nutrition, to keep you hopefully healthier and happier and more vigorous and active and on this planet for a longer time. In the United States, actually worldwide, we face a health crisis. Our country and worldwide, we are putting billions and billions of dollars every year into health, and we are seeing very little reward for that. We have an obesity epidemic that is attacking not just older folks now. We're seeing it in younger and younger ages. Our children are massively overweight. The foods that we eat are basically bankrupt. The vast majority of the foods that we consume, is certainly in the U.S. and worldwide, are made on corporate farms, in fields that have been sprayed and covered with pesticides and herbicides and filled with corn-based nitrogen fertilizers, to the point where they'll grow a beautiful vegetable or beautiful fruit that's bright colored and shiny on the outside, but it's basically nutritionally bankrupt on the inside. Along with all those pesticides and herbicides, we are covered every day in toxins. We breathe them in the air when we follow that school bus to work. They're in our hair when we spray on hairspray and makeup, and in our clothes with laundry detergents, and they're in our water supply and in our food. And our bodies are basically overloaded with toxins, and we cannot keep up. Even if we eat as healthy as we possibly can, we get toxins from all over. And they get in our bodies and on our bodies, and they affect how we age and our health. We are aging prematurely. We are the first generation since God put us on the planet that is expected to have a longer life expectancy than our children. I want that to sink in just a little bit. We are expected to live longer than our children, even with all the advances in medicine and all the billions of dollars that we spend and all the pills that we can throw at disease, and all the fancy robotic surgeries and CAT scans and MRIs and scientists working around the globe. We will live longer than our kids. And I think, many people agree with me that the reason for that huge crisis of obesity and epidemic proportions of coronary artery disease and diabetes and strokes and a world full of overweight children is what we're putting into our bodies. That by putting all those toxins on in our bodies and giving our bodies this to eat in an as fuel, as ammunition to protect ourselves from diabetes and heart disease and strokes and cancers and infections. This is our ammunition. This is our fuel, and we are woefully overmatched. And we think, Nicole and I, and lots of nutrition and health and wellness experts agree that the key to health and wellness is not working harder. It's eating smarter and putting the right fuel into our systems and not relying on fast foods and junk foods. Now, I'm not talking just about fast foods, the McDonald's there in the corner or Hardee's or pizza. I'm talking about fast home foods, things that we use in our busy lives when we're trying to get that out the door between soccer practice and gymnastics or off to band concerts and choir concerts before an evening meeting. It's the frozen stuff. It's the bags that we rip open. It's the microwave dinners. It's the hamburger helper, pour it in a pot and throw in some meat and call it good. The preservatives and the processed foods that we put in are just not nutritionally full, if not loaded with toxins and things that aren't good for us. So one of the main reasons why people come to us and come to Isagenix is for weight loss. Now, it's not by any means the only reason why people come see us, and we'll talk a bit more about the others, but that is probably the number one reason that people seek out Isagenix, is because it is famous and world-renowned for its ability to be a healthy nutrition plan for healthy weight loss while supplementing the body's nutrition so that you are nutritionally complete and not starving the body. Diets, by definition, rarely, if ever, work. One of the reasons they don't work is you are generally denying your body of something, and it will eventually begin to crave that. And when you stop dieting, that four-letter word diet, when you stop dieting and go back to whatever it was you were doing before, the weight often comes back and brings a few pounds with it. If you deny your body of something, it's going to want it. It's going to crave it. The only thing that you really should be limiting when you're on a diet is calories. Ins and outs are very important. What you put in has got to be less than what you burn up. But most people forget the fact that what you put in, the quality of what you put in, is just as important, if not more important, than the quantity of what you put in. Sure, you have to put in less than you burn up in order to lose weight. But if you put in 1,500 calories a day of Twinkies and you burn up 2,000 calories a day, you're probably going to lose weight, but you're going to feel miserable in the process. If you put in 2,000 calories of Twinkies a day and you only burn up 1,500, you're going to gain weight and you're going to feel miserable. So what you put in, the quality of that really needs to be perfect, especially if you're losing weight. Because if you're starving your body of nutrition at the same time that you're dieting, you're damaging your body. You're not making it healthier. You're making it sicker. And so that's one of the things we love most about Isagenix is its focus on making sure that all of your nutritional needs are met or exceeded while you're trying to lose weight. And once you have lost the weight, giving you the tools and the ability to maintain your weight, maintain your exercise and fitness goals, maintain your health as you age, and not have to feel like you go on and off diets as you continue to yo-yo up and down in weight and up and down in health and nutrition as you go forward. A tool that you can use lifelong to maintain your nutritional status and your health. So the second part about diets, got off on a tangent there, sorry about that. The second part about diets, and thing that most people don't realize, and here's a little cover from Newsweek that talks about when fat attacks, is because of all the toxins in our environment, we are basically overmatched and overloaded. And our liver can only do so much. It's our main detoxifying system. But it can't just detoxify and store all of those toxins. And we can't excrete them all. We don't have the ability. Our bodies aren't smart enough. There's so many toxins and poisons and things we put in our system that we are just not necessarily designed to handle. And so when people come into my office, I've seen this for years and years, and they'll come in and they'll have lost weight. unless they, doc, I lost weight, I'm supposed to feel better. I feel horrible. My energy is down. I'm getting headaches and I'm an ache all over and I just don't feel good. I should be feeling better. I should have more energy. I'm losing this weight. But as this graphic depicts, oftentimes when people are losing weight because they're starving themselves and they're denying themselves of nutrition, they're also drastically increasing their toxic load. What was diluted in all of their fat cells, is fat's one of your number one storing places for toxins after the liver gets full. The number, since you're storing it in fat cells, you start to lose those fat cells. The density and the concentration of the toxin in your body goes up, and people feel miserable. So then, when they go off this starvation or they go off this diet in which they were denying their body of nutrition, the weight just comes right back, and it brings its friends with it, because it's trying. Your body is desperately trying to dilute those toxins that are making you feel so miserable and are not good for your health. We found, and not we by Isagenix, we being science, has found that if you cleanse at the same time as you're losing weight, so that when you decrease your weight, you decrease your overall obesity, your adipose tissue, your fat cells. If you get those toxins out of your system at the same time, when you go back to a maintenance diet, and again, I'm going to stress that when you go back to maintenance, which is a long-term, nutritionally complete, healthy eating plan, not back to what got you in the pickle in the first place. But when you go back to a maintenance diet, the same calories in as the same calories out, the weight doesn't come screaming back on in order to dilute those toxins, and the weight is much easier to keep off and stay off. So that's a great thing about Isagenix with weight control and detoxification. The other thing about Isagenix that I really love is that the entire system is designed to help your body protect itself from the ravages of sort of the standard diseases and most of the things that we see. An acidic environment, when your body is pH is low, is very hospitable. It's really easy for bad things to happen: cancer and diabetes, digestive and autoimmune problems, obesity, depression, fatigue, you name it. They thrive in an acidic environment. If your pH is elevated, it's much easier for your body to protect itself. And all of the Isagenix products are created to raise your pH. They're all designed to help fortify your system and make your body better able to protect itself. The things that lower our pH and are not necessarily good for us, that's all the stuff there on the bottom that you see that we eat each and every day. That's the American diet. Some of the things on there I was really fond of myself, but they're not good for me, and this is why, one of the reasons why. And the pH balance, if you bring that up with Isagenix products, will help prepare your body to defend itself from the ravages of not just time, but also the diseases that are waiting for us. Those toxins that are out there, the rocket fuel and arsenic and germs and chemicals and pesticides and things that are in our water, the stuff we breathe in through the air, the stuff that's on our food, the cosmetics and things we put on our skin, all of that stuff is on us and in us and around us all the time. We can't avoid them, but we have to find a way to deal with them. And the sad truth really is that we are surrounded by toxins. Our food is nutritionally bankrupt because of all of the pesticides and herbicides that we've sprayed on those fields and killed that top 18 inches of topsoil, so that the macroorganisms that used to live in our soil are no longer there. And so the plants can't even take up those minerals and nutrients out of the soil and put them into the vegetables and fruits and foods that we eat, because they're just not there. The macroorganisms that are required for that process don't exist. In fact, they did a study back in 1953, and they took a bowl of spinach. This was at UCLA. And they figured out the nutritional value of that spinach. They repeated that study in 1997. It took 43 bowls of spinach to have the same nutritional value as it did back in 1953. Now, they repeated that just a few years ago, and my recollection is it's now over 70 bowls of spinach to have the same nutritional value. So what we eat is incredibly important. And just shopping in that vegetable and fruit aisle on the outside, even if you buy organic foods are quite expensive. We bought a lot of organic foods, and having done a bunch more research on organics, the number one and number two organic sellers in the U.S., my understanding, are Kellogg's and General Mills. It's a corporate business. They meet the organic standards as set forth by the FDA, but are they truly organic, or are they just stamped that because they meet some certification? I encourage people, when you're buying your own foods, if you can grow your own, great. If you've got the time and energy for that, that's fantastic. But if you can't, and you can find authentic food, that is, you buy it from the farmer or from somebody who's raising it in their own garden, and they're spraying or they're spreading natural fertilizer or manure on there from animals that haven't been given antibiotics and fed genetically modified foods, and they're not spraying it with a bunch of chemicals. That's authentic food. That's going to have a much higher nutritional value than simply eating the foods bought at the grocery store. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't try and you shouldn't buy the best that you can get when you're at the store. But if that's what you're relying on, you're going to fall woefully short. They just simply aren't there. They used to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Now it's 3.5 apples a day keep the doctor away. And I can't tell you about you, but I can eat more than a couple apples a week. Certainly can eat 3.5 apples a day. So, with these challenges and burdens on our system, it's no wonder that our immune system simply can't keep up. And so, we're seeing more and more disease and infections and autoimmune problems because we're simply overmatched and we can't keep up. Now, it's quite obvious, and one of the things that's so frustrating about many of the companies that are out there that are trying to sell you a one-trick pony, a Juice of the Month Club, or a super berry from Brazil, or something, coffee bean extract, or something that's going to cure all of your ills. The truth is, there isn't any one thing that's going to do that. There is no single magic bullet. There isn't a fountain of youth. But what there is a lot of science out there that shows us what is best for our bodies and what our bodies need to be healthy and have the best tools to survive. Isagenix takes advantage of that science, and they have built a system of products that work very, very well together. They're designed to work in tandem and together to give you your whole body nutrition and wellness. You can get any of the products at Isagenix one at a time. You can individually buy things, but there are also systems and packs that are set up to make it really, really simple for you. Whoever put you in front of this presentation today, they can get you all the information you want and show you how simple it is and how easy it is to get started. Or you can contact us directly at Better Living with Balance, and we'll be happy to help with that. But today, we are going to focus on the 5 pillars of health, not on all of the other products that Isagenix has, but on the 5 cornerstones that we build Isagenix systems around. And we'll go through these one at a time. I'm going to fly through them relatively quickly in the interest of time. We will have webinars online for you to look at if you want to know more about each of these products. We will have webinars up so you can take a little bit more in-depth look at these. We're going to kind of do a bird's eye view or a flyover of each of these products today. Just explain how they work, why they work, why we've chosen those, and why we feel like they are the beginnings of a healthier future for you. So on this sheet is a list of products. The first on the top left is called the Isoline Shake. The second on the top right is Ionix Supreme. Isogenesis product B right in the center. A multivitamin down on the far right called Aegis Essentials, and finally Cleanse for Life, our cleansing solution and detoxifying tonic. We're going to go through those one at a time, and starting with the Isoline Shake. Isoline shakes are the perfect meal replacement. There are a lot of shakes out there. There are a lot of things on the market, and I've looked at many, many, many of them, and I can continue to do so all the time, and so does Nicole. We get questions on a, if not daily, at least multiple times a week basis. Well, what about this product? What about this product? And there's a lot of garbage out there, for one, and there are some things that aren't complete garbage and aren't too bad. But when we look around, and we continue to look, and again, we use this in ourselves, my wife and I, and both of our kids, and my parents, and my sisters, and my in-laws, if I found something out there that was better, because I'm using it myself and with all the people I love, I would use it. I absolutely haven't found anything that's even close. The Isoline shakes are phenomenal. These are exclusively sourced, high-quality, undenatured New Zealand whey protein. These animals we have at our own farms in New Zealand. They get no antibiotics. They get no hormones. They're not fed genetically modified foods. They're completely grass-fed. They're only milked during season, which means their milk is at the highest quality. In the U.S., we have a tendency to milk cows until they basically dry up, until they're putting out nothing but slightly cloudy water. It's very dilute nutrition. In New Zealand, they're milked only when they're in season. As soon as the milk quality starts to decrease, then they pull that cow out of production, allow her to rest before they bring her back in again. So this is the purest and best product to start with, and then it's treated with a special cold processing filtration system. So all those amino acids are left in their native form. They are not adulterated. They're not broken down. They're not homogenized and changed so that your body is actually able to absorb those. And science has shown us that not only is it better able to absorb, but it's much easier for your body to assimilate those proteins into your muscles, into your tissues, if they haven't been broken into unrecognizable pieces of amino acid chain. There's also extremely low lactase levels in this for easier digestion. I have a lot of people who are felt to be lactose intolerant. They thought they were their whole lives, and they can't drink regular milk, and they can't eat things that are pasteurized and homogenized. But there's such low lactase levels or lactose levels in the product, and because of some naturally occurring active enzymes that are still in here that haven't been broken down and destroyed by the process, they help you absorb and digest the lactose. So I have lots and lots of people who are lactose intolerant who easily do these shakes with no problems whatsoever, which is pretty fantastic. And those enzymes help all of us, even if we're not lactose intolerant, to digest. In fact, we do recommend that if you're doing an isolene shake, that once you blend this up, and you can either do it in a shaker cup, or you can put it in a little blender with some ice. I prefer it that way. I blend it up thick like a smoothie. But when you mix that up, that you do consume that within about 10 minutes. Otherwise, the active enzymes and the proteins that are both in there start to kind of work against each other, and you're not going to get that full nutritional value. So there are no artificial colors. There's no artificial flavors. This is an amazing food product with a perfect balance of 24 grams of protein, 24 grams of carbohydrate, 6 grams of fat, 240 calories at less than $3 a meal. It's extremely inexpensive. I've tried, looked at it many times. There is no way to reproduce this for 3 times that cost. And get that nutritional value. And it's impossible without doing a powdered supplement to do it without getting too many calories. That's the amazing thing about the isolene shake. The other thing about the isolene shake that very few other companies have is it's clinically proven. Most people don't spend money to prove clinically that things work because it costs quite a little bit, and you're always taking a gamble because what if the study doesn't show that it works? We actually have a couple of studies we'll review at the end of today's talk on Isagenix products, but there was one done at the University of Illinois in Chicago and one done at a university in New York at Skidmore College. And we'll talk about those a little more at the end. But I love the fact that Isagenix is willing to put its products to the test and its name on the line, and say we'll stand behind the scientific validity of what we're doing because we know nutrition and we know how to get it in people's hands. The second of the 5 pillars of health after the isolene shake is Ionix Supreme. Ionix Supreme is absolutely amazing. People ask me all the time, if there's one thing that you would not give up, what would it be? And I kind of struggle with that because I love all these products. I literally use every one of these every day. But Ionix Supreme is the thing that I think I'd give up last. It is full of adaptogens, which are specialized botanical substances. These are herbs and extracts from fruits and nuts and berries from all over the world. There's 200 of these. These are recognized around the world. The FDA and the EMA, which is the European Medical Association, recognize adaptogens as a legitimate product or a legitimate thing that is. Oh, sorry about that. Small technical difficulties. It happens when you get happy fingers. We'll get back to adaptogens here in just a second, folks. Sorry about that. There we go. That's a picture of Ionix Supreme and the adaptogens. So it comes in a liquid and a powdered form. Adaptogens are supercharged, nutrient-rich, rejuvenating products, all botanically, all natural. These are designed to help increase your body's ability to perform both mentally and physically. It helps your body overcome or protects you from stress. These energize your cells. They work on your cell membranes or your mitochondria or cell systems in a way, all of them scientifically proven to improve your body's ability to recover from stress or resist the stress in the first place. There's antioxidants and adaptogenic herbs. A blend of trace minerals, all of which support your body's vital functions. There's things in here like eleuthero root and ginseng, rhodiola, wolfberry, ashwagandha, rhododendron. They've been scientifically proven to increase stamina, decrease fatigue, decrease post-workout pain, speed recovery. Lots and lots and lots of athletes, professional athletes especially, are utilizing adaptogens in their exercise programs because they really do help with not only maximum performance, but also maximum recovery. They decrease inflammation, they decrease production of free radicals, they decrease stress-induced oxidative damage and cellular DNA destruction. They support your immune system. This stuff is really amazing. I won't go a day without it. And if I happen to miss one day because I made a mistake and didn't get my order put in, so I'd run out. I try to find somebody to borrow it from because I don't want to go without, because I can absolutely tell the days that I don't have it. These things have been around since the 1940s. If you Google adaptogens and read about them or check out Wikipedia, there are tons and tons and tons of references and articles and things out there that explain what adaptogens are. And again, I do an hour-long talk on adaptogens by themselves. Amazing, amazing things. So if you're an athlete, whether you're a pro athlete or a weekend warrior, on heavy workout days, I recommend you do Ionic Supreme twice. For everyone else who's just going through life and working hard and trying to keep up with kids, or trying to just maintain their health if they're facing some health challenges, once a day is probably optimal. Improved energy, improved sleep, improved mental clarity and focus. Amazing stuff. Now, the third of the 5 pillars of health after the Ionic Supreme and the Isoline shakes is cleanse for life. Now, rest assured, people hear the words cleanse, and almost everyone kind of gets a blank look on their face, or worse yet, they look like a deer in the headlights, and they're thinking colon blow. They're thinking something that's a colon cleanse that they're going to eat. They're going to spend all day long in the bathroom, on the toilet. They're going to clean them out and be ready for their colonoscopy the next day. Nothing could be further from the truth. Cleanse for life is a nutritional cleanser. This is a cellular cleanse. This is designed to scrub your 100,000 trillion cells throughout your body and help you to detoxify and to bind up those chemicals that are all locked up in there and get them out of your system. The same time as it's binding up and cleaning out and removing those chemicals and toxins, it's resupplying a lot of the things in your body that you haven't been getting in your normal food. So you're cleaning stuff out and restoring with better nutrition. So Cleanse for Life Health gives your body that nutrition it needs as it cleanses itself naturally. It feeds and nourishes your body, unlike other cleanses that actually sort of strip things from your body and eradicate and remove everything in its path, or worse yet, just clean out your colon, which is really not doing you a whole lot of good. They deplete your body with laxatives and diuretics. Isagenix Cleanse for Life does not a laxative, and it's not a diuretic. It does help your body better cope with stress and support your mental and physical health. People will say to me, gee, doc, I was a little worried doing my cleanse the first day, because during a cleanse day, whether you do the liquid form there at the top of the right or use the powdered form, which you then just rehydrate with some water, they're both the same, just one liquid and one powder. But whether you do the Cleanse for Life liquid or powder, you're not going to feel like you're starving during the day, though that's all you're doing through the day. You do 4 servings of that and a couple of small snacks. You're putting in less than 300 calories. And a lot of people feel like, boy, by the end of the day, I'm going to be chewing my arm off. I'm going to feel absolutely miserable. I can't cleanse. I can't fast. But there's a lot of science to fast, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason that we fast and cleanse at the same time, because we want your body to get busy with the business of cleansing and removing those impurities and not be worrying about digesting food. When your body's busy doing that, it doesn't get hungry. I've a semi truck full of people who told me I was totally scared of cleansing, and now I love it. I don't want to quit. In fact, in the system that your Isagenix associate can share with you, or we here at Better Living with Balance can, in the original starter packs, oftentimes the cleanse is 4 times during the first month. But after that, and people say, well, I'm really not trying to lose weight anymore. I'm kind of on maintenance. Can I keep doing the cleanse? Say, absolutely. You can still cleanse once a week. You can still cleanse once a month. Getting those toxins out of your system right off the bat is important, with maybe doing 4 times in the first month, or even 2 or 3 months back to back, to get all the impurities out of your system as you're getting your health under control and your weight down. But after that, continuing to get those toxins out of your system, because even if you're eating healthy, you're still getting things on you and in you from the rest of the world. And people will say, I thought the next day I would just be ravished. I thought I'd get up the next day and I would be ready to eat the house. And they tell me, and it happens with me as well, you're not as hungry the next day as you were the day before your cleanse. And you're not starving. In fact, I've had some people say that they do a cleanse right before their biggest workout of the week, because the next day, even though they didn't eat anything at all the day before, they have their best workout, their best performance, their best power outputs the day after a cleanse. And there's a lot of science behind that. That's not something we just see with Isagenix. There's a lot of science to fasting and cleansing before peak performance. A lot of pro athletes take advantage of that. So the other thing about cleansing and fasting at the same time, it does a lot of things to your system that are really, really good for you. It resets your insulin centers. It resets your satiety centers, so you're not as hungry as you were before, like we talked. A lot of people say, well, my stomach shrank. So it takes about 6 weeks for your stomach to actually shrink. Your stomach is a muscle. What happens is that part of your brain that tells you you're full shrinks. so that for the days after you've fasted and cleansed, you don't have to eat as much and your brain thinks it feels fuller. You don't have to distend your stomach. And that's a wonderful training tool for our bodies. As we in the US have been trained that we're only full when our bellies are distended and stretched. And the truth is, we need to learn and retrain our bodies to be nutritionally full. We should be done eating when we're nutritionally complete, not when our bellies are stretched. And that's one of the things that fasting and cleansing together provides. It also activates a longevity gene. There's actually a gene in your body called the longevity gene, and fasting and cleansing has been shown to improve that. There's a number of studies out there that show intermittent fasting is associated with a longer life. It stimulates BMP and serotonin production. Here's a little slide on how the cleanse days work and all the things that happen in your body when you're going through a cleanse day. It reduces oxidative stress and improves your focus and mental energy. It promotes detox, replaces the bleached out nutrients in nutrition. So, in short, I mean, Cleanse for Life is amazing. Whether you certainly, we hope everyone starts with Cleanse for Life because you've had your whole life to build up toxins. We want to get those toxins out. But intermittent cleansing for life is absolutely recommended. So you can do a full day cleanse where you doing the fasting and cleansing together. Now, there are some people out there, and I get this question a lot. What about someone who can't fast? They're a diabetic or they're on some medication that they have to have food and they can't do days of fasting and cleansing. You can also do shallow cleanses, and your Isagenix associate can explain this to you. It's very simple. You just do a dose of the cleanse, the powder or liquid, either one, at night before you go to sleep. And then at night when you're naturally fasting, that 12 hours between supper and breakfast, your body can go about the business of detoxifying and cleansing. Probably not quite as effective as a fasting cleansing. You don't get some of the added benefits of the fast, but if medically you can't do it, then there's no reason that you can't cleanse at all. It's just you can't do the fasting with the cleansing. So you can do what we call shallow or gentle daily cleanses. But certainly feel free to get in contact with us here, Better Living with Balance, or with the person who introduced you to Isagenix, and they can help explain that to you. So, well, the fourth of the 5 pillars of health after the Cleanse for Life and the Ionic Supreme with its amazing adaptogens and the meal replacement shake, the Isoline shakes, is Aegis Essentials. And Aegis Essentials is a multivitamin. Now, the jury is not out. You'll hear on public radio or you hear on mainstream television, some study will come out and they'll be throwing vitamins under the bus. But the vast majority of experts who know what they're talking about and are paying attention to all of the literature will say you really should be taking a multivitamin, a good quality pharmaceutical grade multivitamin, not mega doses or high doses or super doses of vitamins, and not something that you buy at the discount store or bargain store, because you're simply not going to get what you're paying for, and you maybe get toxic loads of things. You may get products that are contaminated. You're probably getting something that you can't even digest, and it's going to pass right out through your system. But the truth is, you do need to take a multivitamin every day to fulfill your nutritional needs. Again, the spinach story comes up. What we're eating doesn't have enough nutritional value. It doesn't have the minerals and vitamins that you need. In addition to simply taking a multivitamin, CoQ10, fish oil, vitamin C, all these things are absolutely necessary to provide your body with optimal health. And you can't get them in the grocery store. You can't eat enough of any food to supply what your body really needs to be maximally healthy. But it's important that you don't spend your money on something that's a waste or something that's going to be dangerous for you. I have had a number of people over the years that had kidney damage in the hospital, in the ICU, have had kidney failure because of toxic loads of vitamins. There's a lot of companies out there that are inscrutable, and they're putting out a dangerous product. And if people start putting together their own vitamin packs without the education and the training and the knowledge, they often get overlapped. So if you go to your local vitamin store, you go to your local pharmacy, and you start grabbing things off the shelf, you'll find that a lot of them will say one thing on the front label, but if you turn the back, it'll have whatever was on the front, magnesium, and on the back it'll also contains a whole bunch of other vitamins that are in there, and you start mixing those things together to build your own vitamin pack, and you end up with toxic overloads. And some simple packs are toxically overloaded. Some companies are selling things that are shown not to be safe and are dangerous for you. This is a diagram that shows what you can get in a single one daily pack of Isagenix. On the bottom right is a little cellophane pack that they come in. You can see that's not very big. It's one in the morning, one at night. Some companies out there, and you may be familiar with them, have a long a sleeve of vitamins you take all day long. and you have to juggle around food, and some you can have with food and some without, and some you can have with fatty meals and some without it, and you're basically rattled when you walk, you're taking so many. That simply isn't necessary. If you spend the time and the effort and the money to make a vitamin pharmaceutical grade, you can take it with or without food, and you can do it twice a day, and you're done. You don't have to go through all those hoops. You don't have to take so many pills. And this is a diagram, a reference of all of the vitamin content in a single daily pack of Aegis Essentials. It's the vitamin equivalent of all that food in the wine there in front of you. Somebody said the other day they wish they could just have all that wine instead of the vitamin pack, but that probably wouldn't be good for you for lots of other reasons. So again, not all vitamins are created equal. Not every vitamin is going to give you anywhere near that much nutritional value. And too many vitamins are dangerous for you. There are a number of studies out there that show that megadoses of vitamins or too high of vitamins can actually increase your cause of death and increase cancer. That 50% of the top 21 vitamin brands were evaluated by Consumer Lab Company, which is actually an independent corporation that does not allow advertising. You can't buy your way on or off of this list. And they did the study, and the top 21 vitamin brands, half of them failed testing on because of poor content. They were undissolvable. They were frankly unsafe. That's frightening. And I feel a little guilty because for years and years and years, as a physician, I recommended to people, along with you need to just eat healthy and eat smart and exercise, you should be on a multivitamin. And they would say, which one? And I would say, oh, it doesn't matter. I know now it really, really does matter. It's important that you're on a vitamin, you're on CoQ10, and you're on fish oil, but it's really important that what you get is pharmaceutical grade and is good for you and not dangerous or unsafe. The fact is, only 3% of Americans are able to get all their essential vitamins from eating a balanced diet, and this is agreed upon numbers. You can find this number all over the place in the medical literature. This is not something that we take lightly. And I actually went to a conference about a year ago, the Age Management Medical Group, which is an evidence-based medicine conference, not an isogenics conference. This is a nutrition, healthy aging, and geriatrics conference that specializes in the diseases that ravage our society as we get older. And at that conference, they had a world-leading expert on vitamins, and he came with all of his slides and all of his science and all of his data and listed all of the vitamins that we really should be putting into our system and at what quantities and from what source. And I sat there with the isogenics sheet, and I just checked them off one at a time. And at the end of it, they nailed it. They just absolutely nailed it. Now, these guys really are paying attention. They know the literature. They know what the experts are, and that's what they're giving to us every day. So where you get your vitamins are important. It really should be a pharmaceutical quality vitamin. It needs to be tested. It needs to be safe. Along with testing our vitamins, we test all of our products at Isogenics, both internally and externally. Isogenics ensures that we follow and meet and or exceed all the good manufacturing processes. This is not something required by the FDA, but something that Isogenics does voluntarily. They spend loads and loads of money on internal and external third-party testing to ensure that the product that you get at your house is not just safe for your family, but contains in it exactly what it says on the label, and it's going to do for your health what you want it to. So the fifth of the 5 pillars of health, after the vitamins and the cleanse and the Onyx Supreme and the shakes, is that product called Isogenesis Product B. Why is Isogenesis Product B important? Before we get to the product itself, let's talk about why we need it. On the ends of our DNA, there's a little cap called telomeres. There on the left, it's described, and you can see that end piece. Well, the telomeres, without getting too geeky, we'll lower the geek factor. I'm not going to get into DNA process too terribly deep. Again, another talk that lasts more than an hour on telomeres and age reversing. But in a nutshell, the end caps of our DNA, every time a cell turns over, the telomeres are responsible for your DNA unwinding, replicating itself, winding back up. The old cell dies and takes the old DNA, and the new cell's alive with the new DNA. But you lose a couple of those end caps every time this happens. You're born with about 10,000 of these. When you get to about 5,000 base pairs, that's that DNA sequence you remember back from high school science. When you get to about 5,000 base pairs at the end of your DNA and those telomeres, your cells start to deteriorate and start to break down, and you die. Now, the shorter those telomeres are, the more diseases you have. And that same conference I was at, I literally, every single doctor that got up there, or scientist that got up there and did a presentation, whether it was Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or diabetes or heart disease or strokes, you name it, they all mentioned telomeres. It's all over the medical literature because we're finding that certainly age is a predictor. The older people are, the more diseases they have. But they found if you measure the telomeres, the end caps of your DNA, that is even a more stronger predictor of disease load. That not all 65-year-olds have the same DNA end caps. In fact, some of them are quite long, and those people have a tendency to be very healthy. People with shorter end caps, regardless of how old they are less healthy and have more disease. And you can see in the bottom as each one of those magazines, even the Dilbert cartoon at the end, is making a reference to telomeres and the end caps of your DNA. So this is amazing science. In fact, we have partnered up. Isagenix has partnered up with a guy named Dr. Bill Andrews. This is an amazing man. There's an article written on him in Popular Science. He owns a company called Sierra Sciences, and he's been working for the last 25 years on a project that he actually calls that I will cure aging or die trying. He's actually written a book by that title, and he's devoted his life and his scientific endeavors to finding a way to keep those end caps, those telomeres, from getting shorter. He discovered a way to measure telomerase, which again will keep the geek factor down, but telomerase is an enzyme in your body that can actually keep those base pairs from getting shorter every time your cells turn over. And he's found a way to measure that. He's also found a way to determine how long those or how active that telomerase is in your body. Now, that science, along with a number of other scientists around the world, is being used in all kinds of areas, from cancer research to neurologic regeneration to anti-aging, which is Dr. Andrews' focus, as well as a number of others. In fact, this research received the Nobel Prize a few years ago in physiology and medicine because of its breakthrough on not just aging, but on overall health. Dr. Andrews himself won second place in a world science symposium a few years back. Would have been really, really impressive had he won first place, because the first place winner was to protease inhibitors. And if you recall back from the heyday of HIV, protease inhibitors were the drugs that halted HIV in its tracks. So the only breakthrough that has been felt to be more scientifically impressive than what Dr. Andrews is doing was protease inhibitors in the cure for HIV. That's how impressive this science is. And he works with us and directs the development of Isagenesis Product B. And because of all of these diseases listed here that are known to be associated with shortened telomeres, all of these diseases directly relate to short telomeres, more disease load. Things that we know that improve our telomeres, things that we know keep them longer and healthier, really make sense now. In the last 10 to 15 years, we've discovered why things like adequate sleep and exercise and a healthy diet and not smoking and moderate alcohol consumption and hormone optimization and things like fish oil and some of the multivitamins, folate, B12, D3, we've discovered one of the reasons, if not probably not the only reason, but one of the reasons that people who follow these or do these things or take these vitamins live longer and healthier, maybe because their telomeres are longer or their telomeres are protected. They don't shorten so quickly every time the cells turn over. So in an effort to try to continue or to potentiate that telomerase and continue to keep your telomeres longer, Isagenix and Dr. Bill Andrews have developed a product called Isagenesis. Now, this is the fourth generation of product B, Isagenesis, and it has, I believe, 36 different naturally occurring botanical substances that have been shown to support your body's support your body's cellular functions and support telomerase and hopefully protect those end caps and keep us all on the planet a whole lot longer. I have loads and loads and loads of success stories I'd love to share with you on people who've done Isagenesis and amazing changes in their body, not just outward appearance, but health changes from Isagenesis. But we don't have time for that, so we're going to move on. There is, again, another whole talk on Isagenesis. Feel free to log on and listen to that. It's amazing, amazing science. Now, you can get product B Isagenesis by itself. You can get it as a standalone product. That's the bottle on the top right. I certainly recommend, because again, I think everybody should be on a multivitamin, the packs at the bottom, which is Aegis Essentials with product B. So right in that little cellophane pack, they put the product B right in the pack, and that's a picture of them down below. So you get your CoQ10 and your omega-3s and your vitamin C, your Aegis Actives, which are special for men and for women, and then product B all at one time. Simple, simple, simple. In fact, the entire line of Isagenix products, whether it's just Isogenesis Product B or all the others are all basically designed to improve your telomeres. Looking back, they've been in business now for 13 years. Looking back, one of the reasons why we think that Isogenesis works so well and makes us all so healthy is because of the many of the ingredients have all been shown in the scientific literature to be affect your telomeres and the length of your telomeres. So those studies I talked about earlier, I'll flip through those really quick and we can get you more information on these. You can actually find these on the web. But this was that study done at the University of Illinois in Chicago, where they compared the isogenic shakes to the heart healthy diet, which is the diet that's recommended by the American Heart Association. As you can see from those numbers, isogenics it just spanked the heart healthy diet. 56% more weight loss, 47% more fat loss, twice as much visceral fat loss. Now that visceral fat is the fat that's wrapped around your organs and in your abdomen. It's in the middle. That's also the fat that's directly associated with the risk for diabetes and heart disease and strokes, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're going to lose fat, you want to lose all fat, but the fat that's on your arms and, maybe in the back of your arms or on your thighs, that makes your jeans fit too tight is not nearly as dangerous for your overall health as that fat that's around your middle, that central obesity, that visceral fat. And they lost twice as much of that visceral fat. How do they know that? They ran these people through MRI machines serially. So not only did we know how much weight they lost and what their body fat percentage was, but they could actually measure where they lost the fat. So they also had a 35% greater reduction in the biological oxidative measurements or oxidative stress. So their bodies were healthier, not just thinner and not with less fat. The second study was done this last year. It's a two-phase study. This is the longest study I have ever seen on nutrition. And in fact, I've had a couple other scientists who do this a whole lot more than I do say that they've never seen anything like it. This is a two-part study. The first part was 3 months. The second part finished out the entire year for 12 months. And you can see the results were amazing, what we expected to see. Average weight loss was 24 pounds, 70% decrease in body fat, 30% decrease in visceral fat, an increase in lean muscle mass of 9%. And after they were after all the study participants were in the first 12 weeks, they turned them loose, and half of them went on a heart healthy diet, and half of them went on isogenics maintenance, which is what we would recommend for you. If you're starting out lean, fit, and healthy, and you just do a detox and go straight to maintenance, that's great. But if you start out with a little bit of weight to lose and you do a 30-day system, again, your Isogenesis associate or we can help you with that. Super simple. But as soon as you go on to maintenance and you're doing a shake a day and the vitamins, and maybe a cleanse once a month and the Ionic Supreme once a month. Certainly you can throw in some fruits and greens and some protein bars if you like. But if you're just doing maintenance to ensure your daily health and nutrition needs are met, what is that going to do over a year? Is it really going to make a difference? Is it really going to help? And rather than controlling this thing like a lot of even shorter studies do, and coaching the patients and putting them all with a personal trainer and really biasing the system, Isagenix just turn them loose and followed them for a year. And at the end of that year, they saw an amazing difference in the people on Isagenix maintenance and the people who were just instructed on the heart healthy diets maintenance. Body fat continued to go down. Visceral fat continued to go down. Weight loss continued to go up. Lean body mass continued to go up. They stayed healthy and got healthier in real life, not being coached and not being trained and not being forced to go work out. Some of them worked out on their own. Some of them didn't. Some of them never exercised. Some of them went to the gym every day. This was real life people living with Isagenix, and the results were phenomenal. The thing that's the most amazing about this, the results are absolutely amazing. But the thing I find the most amazing about this is Isagenix paid for this entire study up front, and they paid to have it published in 2 nutritional journals before they started the study. So regardless of the results, with no input from Isagenix, this study was going to be published. Again, they're putting the entire company's reputation on the line before they ever started, and they paid to have it published before they got started, so no one could shelve this and stick it in the corner and act like it didn't happen. Amazing stuff. I think that to me, that proves not only the quality of the product and the validity of the system they put together, but also the integrity of the company. So anyway, what is Isagenix? Isagenix is whole body nutrition. The 5 pillars of health help build a foundation of nutrition for your body. Cellular cleansing. Obviously, for some, it's weight loss or weight control. For others, it's just nutritional maintenance and healthy aging. And finally, sports nutrition. Nicole and I both, with her personal training and with me focusing on health and wellness, nutrition, and sports medicine in the office, we have a lot of athletes. We're also athletes ourselves. So we have a lot of people that we train and have run with or cycled with. And so we get a lot of questions from athletes. Isagenix has a special love for athletes. They have an entire system or an entire team called Team Isagenix, and they have athletes from all around the world who really want to do things the right way, all naturally, all nutritional, no supplements, no gimmicks, no tricks. We have Olympic athletes, and we have bodybuilders. We have fitness models. We have everyday warrior, weekend warrior athletes. We have people that just want to be able to run a marathon or a half marathon or compete in their local 5K. What we do different for athletes is that Isoline shake, we make a second shake, very similar to the first one, has extra protein. If you're challenging your body, if you're putting it through extra hard paces, if you're not just working out to stay fit and healthy 4 or 5 days a week, but you're really training hard, you need some extra protein. You also may need just pure protein, even for our bodybuilders. They don't want all the extra calories that's in the Isoline shakes, but they just want some pure protein for post-workout. So we have a pure protein powder for workout. We also have something called E Plus, which is basically Isagenix's answer to 5-hour energy. A lot of people kind of scoff and laugh at that, but the truth is there's a lot of science behind energy shots. Now, not that junk that comes in the bottle at the gas station that's full of caffeine and a half a cup of sugar, but energy shots that are full of vitamin B and caffeine, a small amount of caffeine from yerba mate and green tea. That's what's in E+. This is designed by a guy named Dr. Michael Colgan, who is a physiologist and scientist from, I think his office is up in Maine, but he's coached hundreds of Olympic athletes and professional athletes. This is what he's done for years and years and years. He's like 70 years old, and he's an expert on nutrition and maximum exercise performance. And he designed this specifically for his high performance athletes. The nice thing about it is you and I can get our hands on it, no problem. It's not expensive, and it really does improve your exercise and your workouts. It's also fantastic for those mid-afternoon slumps when you feel like you kind of hit a wall, and you want to go grab that double latte. Instead of doing that with all the calories and junk that's in it, Naturally Plus Energy Shot does the trick. In fact, instead of pulling over at Casey's on the drive to Missouri to visit the family, and I'm leaving here at 7 o'clock and it's 1 o'clock in the morning on the way through Kansas City, instead of pulling over to Casey's and grabbing a double dose of rock gut coffee, one of these does absolutely the same energy boost without all the side effects and all the problems with nasty coffee from truck stops. So anyway, a beautiful thing for athletes, but also for people for everyday use to get you through your day. Replenish, which is basically an organic mineral or a vitamin water, a Gatorade, you name it. This is to replace your electrolytes and the vitamins you lose when you're working out or when you're exercising. Or for people who maybe are drinking way too much pop and they're sipping on something all day long, they just don't like plain water. Very low calories. Soy-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, vegetarian, 35 calories per serving, lots of vitamins, 3 different flavors. Great stuff for replacing those electrolytes when you're working out, but also great for just to drink every day rather than grabbing something that's full of sugar and junk. So again, we have the energy and performance modules. Isagenix Science sends out these newsletters. This one happened to be on energy and performance, but one comes out every month. It has great information on health and wellness and nutrition for athletes and everyone else for that matter. This one just happens to be on energy and performance. Here's a quick slide on some of the professional athletes we have around the world. Again, extreme athletes, endurance athletes, professionals, bodybuilders, you name it. There's some people on this slide you might recognize. Ray Lewis, the Baltimore Ravens, recently retired. J.J. Birden of the Kansas City Chiefs, Martin Rucker, Tony Mandernack, Natalie Cook's decorated Olympic athlete. She's a gold medal volleyball player from Australia. These people, another amazing thing about Isagenix is they do not pay people to endorse their product. Not like other companies that will go up and just offer money to people and say, okay, we're going to pay you, and then you can tell people you love our product. These people loved Isagenix, used it personally. Their associates, they do not get their products for free. They don't get paid to endorse the product. They endorse the product because they love it. In fact, everybody on this page and the previous page pays exactly the same price for their shakes and their Ionic Supreme and their cleanse and their vitamins as you and I do. Isagenix says, in the interest of integrity, they don't buy endorsements. They don't sponsor television commercials, and they don't sponsor athletic events and activities. There's one company that sponsors a college football bowl game, and they say, you know what, if you're gonna represent Isagenix, you're gonna do it because you love Isagenix and you use it yourself. And there's obviously some very successful, amazing athletes on this page. So if it's good enough for their bodies, that tells me it's probably good enough for mine, because I'm not doing nearly to my body what these folks have done to theirs. So who needs Isagenix? Great question. We hear that all the time, and our answer is everybody needs Isagenix. Everybody needs Isagenix because you can't shop smart enough. You can't exercise away bad nutrition. You can't get those toxins out of your system. We're all getting older every day. My kids use Isagenix every day before school. They're 11 12 and 14, and they've had a shake every day for breakfast for the last 2 or 3 years. They oftentimes will have a shake for supper. If we're in a hurry and we're running out the door to something we don't have time to cook, we grab a shake. They take the vitamins, and so do we. I mean, everybody needs Isagenix. It's simple and easy to get started. If you are interested in more about Isagenix, again, this was a bird's eye overview of the 5 pillars of health. Why Nicole and I love Isagenix, why so many of our clients and patients love Isagenix. If you want to know more about that, please get together with the associate who turns you on to this webinar. If you came to the Better Living with Balance website and got to this webinar from there, please give us a call, shoot us a text. We'll be happy to give you more information. And please join us again next time on one of our other webinars, talking about pretty much whatever we can dream up or what people ask us about. Better Living with Balance is committed to helping you live a longer, healthier, happy, more fulfilled life. And if there's something you want to hear about or for us to weigh in on, please don't hesitate to ask. We'll add that to the series. And we look forward to talking to you again sometime in the future. We wish you the best of health. Take care.